5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
And I give you my perspective.
Coach Ed
And Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and Attack.
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm going to attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coach Ed's Read and Attack.
And I give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and Attack. Sports
This
Talk
is a
Show.
sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coach Ed
Read and Attack.
Sports Talk Show. Read and Attack.
Read and Attack Show.
Yo, what's good, everyone? It's me, Coach Ed. I bring you another episode of Coach Ed's Read and Attack Sports Show. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone for doing so. Today's show is going to be going over a couple of different things, but before I get into that, this show is also going to be dedicated to a brother of mine who I recently lost. He was a partner on one of my other shows. He and I have done many live streams covering New York Giants football games, doing basketball games. We've done a lot. We've covered a lot of games, but he was right there with me and NYG 22 on our show, Heart of the City, every Tuesday night at 8:30. Jeffy T85. We lost him last weekend. It's been very rough for me and a lot of other YouTubers and content creators who knew him, who rocked with him. Young brother who we truly loved and appreciated. And he's helped me along the way in so many different ways. So many different ways. I'm not perfect with this YouTubing and live streaming and podcasting. I'm working hard to get better. But, Jeff was always there, extremely supportive, and not just of me. I mean, when I tell you so many people, just coming out and seeing the multitude of people's lives that he impacted. He was a good dude. He was a good brother. He's always going to be my brother. And everything that I do in this sphere, I'm definitely going to be thinking about him and in some ways dedicating it to him. And as I said on Heart of the City, most people call me coach because of football, but Jeff was my coach because in terms of this, always gave me good advice, gave me good insight, was extremely supportive. So with that being said, today I'm going to be, covering different sports today. I got an interview on tap, but, for Jeff, bro, I love you. I'm always miss you. Now, we're going to get ready to get into the show. If you're new to anything that I do, just go head over to my YouTube channel. It's Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the notification so this way you know when I post new content, and always make sure you share and like any of the episodes that I do, whatever it is, make sure you do that so it can continue to grow. Always stay tuned here. You can always check me out through Shadow Worlds, or you can always go to iHeart and pull up Coach Ed Gladney's Read and Attack Sports Show. The episodes will always be there too. So You can also email me, Ed's Amazing World of Sport, and that's EDD. You can hit me there. If you have any Ed's Amazing World of Sports at gmail.com, sorry, you can make sure that you hit me there. Always leave a message on any of the the YouTube channels that I perform at, that I stream at, or leave a video at, or you can hit me on Twitter, Coach Ed G or Coach Ed Gladney. You can pull me up, DM me. I'll always get back to you. So, again, everyone, thank you for your support. To all my sponsors, Shadow Worlds Radio, the League of All Leagues, Get Out Travels, Wise Consultant, and now the Jersey Bearcats Arena football team. Thank you all for supporting me and being there for me. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing to help me grow. So, with that being said, it's time to get ready to turn it on and turn it up. And for you, Jeff, this one's for you. So, peace. Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. Retake. Go Travels, helping people get out and explore the world. For travel plans, Go Travels will help you to experience new adventures anywhere. We specialize in travels throughout North, Central, and South Americas, but we can help you find those special places anywhere in the world. We will be the guiding hand as you create engaging, long-lasting, and life memories. However you wish to get to your destination, via land, air, or sea, Go Travels is the one you can count on to get you where you need to go. In addition to travel adventures, we can help you set your plans for sporting events, concerts, and theme parks. We are experienced at catering to all your travel needs. When you're traveling outside of the U.S., we will help you make sure all your paperwork is in order or help you obtain whatever is required for your travels. To book a trip, visit the Go Travels website at www.getouttravels.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/getouttravels. You can also email us at getouttravels@yahoo.com or call to 571-888-5809. And Go Travels is spelled GETOUTRAVELS. Go Travels, where we bring your adventure to life. All right, everyone. Right now, I just want to do a little stroll down memory lane. Now, this is a memory of Jeffy T85, my brother, and I just want to talk about the impact and the positive effect that he had on me. I remember the first time I ever got on the live stream to cover a game, and it was with him. We were covering the New York Giants early in the 2022 season. So he was covering a game, and I had been following him, watching, and we crossed paths in, the Big Blue Crew network. So we were familiar with each other and, put out that, if anybody wanted to join, and, he already knew a little bit about me, and I jumped on, and we, the connection just seemed to be instantaneous, man. he would break it down, talk about the play, how they're aligned, well, and I would give a coaching perspective. And it was just like you were listening to an actual broadcast crew, because we just knew how to interact, and that went on throughout the whole game, interacting with the chat that was there, people giving us great compliments, and then once the show's over, behind the scenes, we're sitting there chopping it up, and he's like, "Yo, Ed, you're good. You're real good, man. You do very well at this, man." And he's, from there, it was just, every week I was always there with him, jumping in. If he was doing a live stream during the week, something else. If I wasn't doing anything, there I was right there with him, and he'd always tell me, "Coach, you're good. When the videos that you do, you're good. You talk about football, you're good with that. You talk about Rutgers, your passion for Rutgers, coaching, he'd always call me, Mr. X's and O's, he always introduced me like that. Man, he said, here's the legend himself. If you want to know about, the ins and outs of football, if you really want to grow, this is the man to talk to, the Mr. X's and O's, the legend." It did make me feel good, man. It really, really made me feel good. And I've always known I was good with X's and O's. There's no doubt about it. That's what I was raised and geared all my life. So I knew that, but the way that he just would talk about me or anyone, but the way he would hype you up, you really felt good about yourself. And it didn't matter. He was like that, if he was in wrestling, he was very excited, very animated, passionate. But when it came, he'd sit down, talk to me, really gave me insight, look at this angle, come this way, come that way, talk to me about doing shorts, just everything. And he was just so inviting and so supportive. He wasn't jealous. He wasn't worrying about, "Oh, well, you're stealing my thunder," or anything of that nature. That there's other YouTube content creators out there, even within the same fan bases. They're just so jealous and they're attacking each other, but not Jeff. Doesn't matter if you're a Giants fan, if you were an Eagles fan, a Cowboys, didn't matter the team. He's going to support you, and he's going to always be there to support you and try and lift you up. That's the type of man that he was. That's the type of man that we need more of in this world, to be honest with you. Because that's a man who he didn't look at you trying to steal his thunder, didn't look at your race, didn't look at your sex or any of that. If he believed in you and he trusted in you, he was loyal to you. And he was going to be there for you, and he's going to fight for you and fight with you if necessary. I don't mean physically. I just mean in the sense that he's going to be there supporting you in whatever it is you're doing and not letting anybody try and walk all over you. And that's why I call him my brother, because he was like that. Even though we don't have, same bloodline, same parents or anything of that nature. He's a white dude. I'm a black dude. I'm old enough to be his dad, to be honest with you. But never treated me like I'm an old man, treated me like I'm a man, didn't treat me like I'm an old black man. He treated me like I'm a man, and I looked at him like a man, and that's why I've always said he's my brother. And that's the type of cat Jeff was, and he's sorely, sorely missed. So, Jeff, I love you, brother. Always will. So, I'm going to take a break now, and I'll be back right after this. Shadow Worlds Radio, the feel-good experience that connects with the community and reflects life. With Shadow Worlds Radio, you're able to listen to great music, find them out in the community, positively impacting lives, addressing important social issues which affect our communities, and bringing an interactive approach to life, love, sports, and our families. If you're looking for great DJ service, contact Shadow Worlds Radio. To listen to powerful talk radio, tune into the Unconcealed Talk Show, where it's about making strong and positive moves. For great sports talk, check out Heart of the City, where passion for New York City sports kicks it to another level. To take it back in the days, listen to Daz Smith and the Retro Show, where he brings you classic music from down under. Good day, mate. Shadow Worlds Radio is bringing you everything you're looking for from an online radio and media outlet. Visit Shadow Worlds Radio's website at www.shadowworlds.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Shadow Worlds Radio. And the Shadow Worlds spelled SHADOWWORLZ. Yes, Shadow Worlds with a Z. All right, everyone. Thank you guys for sticking it out with me and coming back. This is a great and a special interview for me. One of the great giant content creators that is out there. He does phenomenal work. So when we put out his channel, make sure you guys stop by and check out his work. You're really going to love his work, especially if you're a Giants fan. But if you're just a football fan, please check him out. He does great work. He has great interviews on his channel and his platform also. So this is who I consider a brother, Hitsquad. Thank you for joining the channel, Hitsquad. How you doing today?
Hey, first of all, thank you so much for having me on, Coach. I mean, you already know you're one of my favorite content creators. So hearing that from you really, really means a lot, man. Seriously. I'm doing good, though. I'm doing really good. I'm really excited for this episode.
All right. Well, thank you again. So let's get right into it. When did you first get involved in sports, and what sports were you in? What sports were they?
Man, I started getting into sports when I was really, really young. I like to joke about it, like out the womb, essentially, because my father, let alone my whole family, we're all diehard Giants fans. My father in particular, he was a Giants fan, but he was also a huge Yankees fan as well. Same with my uncle. Baseball is really big in my family. As a kid, I would play baseball a little bit, mainly football, me and my brother, but as I got older, I kind of steered away from baseball a little bit, kind of lost my interest. As I got older, football, just the interest grew even more. So I would really say since I was born, but when I started like getting really into sports and my father started putting me into, little leagues and whatnot, I would say at around like 6, maybe 7, at around that age. It was really young, considering I'm 27 now.
All right, so your dad got you started in sports, so that's always a good thing, especially when you've had fathers involved, it festers and it helps grow the love of your sport. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. So would you say football was your best sport, or was it baseball, or what was your best sport playing, and what is your overall favorite sport?
I would absolutely say it was football. Football, I was just naturally better at. Baseball, I didn't have like any issues playing it. I definitely wasn't bad playing baseball. Thankfully from my uncle, because my uncle played it. And he would always have, me and my sister out there, because my sister was really big into softball growing up. So I just tagged along with her. And, but for me, it was football. Football, to me, that was just something that naturally, I just picked up well. Now, I never got to where I wanted to get to, and it's all good. But with football, when I was playing it when I was younger, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was something that I looked forward to every week. I was your typical kid. I didn't really like going to school. Where I grew up at, a lot of kids were like that. I didn't really go to school that much. But, with the little leagues that we had outside of school, that was something that, I know that my mother, she worked hard to make sure I could get into. She would work 2 jobs, just to get me cleats. And my
Mhm.
father, he would try to go to the games. My mother really couldn't make them. So, for me, it was absolutely football.
Okay. Well, with both football and baseball, what positions did you play throughout your life?
Yeah. So when I was younger, starting up, uh, obviously I'm right now like 5'10", 5'11" at most. But when I was younger, I played running back. In Little League, I played running back. In
Hmm.
high school, which is really where I stopped in my senior year, I was our second string running back. And I just enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Something about just it's gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna say pause before it, but something about running through dudes. It was just something that I enjoyed. If I was given the ability and the height by the grace of God, I would have loved to have been like a defensive end or a defensive
Hmm.
tackle. Uh,
Hmm.
just for me, it was running back. I always joked with my friends that I could have played QB, but nah.
Okay. Okay. Now you said you were second string in high school.
Yeah.
And that's as far as you went in high school.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
as far as I went. Really, once I got towards senior year, truthfully, what ended up happening was I started like getting more interest outside of football. I started
Hmm.
realizing certain things about myself that like I really, really enjoyed off of the field, and that I realized was like, nah, like this really makes me happy. As I got through high school, my relationship, with my father started deteriorating, and it just
Hmm.
became more of like when I would step onto the field or even just go to the games and like suit up, it was more like I enjoyed playing it, but my father who got me into the sport, just where I was at that point in my life, it wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't fun for me. I still loved the game, but just my summers being dedicated to it, having to go to speed camps, and it just
Hmm.
it just wasn't fun at that point. But I enjoyed it. I loved it more than anything, and I wish I could go back. If I could go back and change things, I would, man.
It's never too late to play. I mean, you're still a young man. Trust me, you can find a
26,
you
26,
can
that'll be
find a
27.
semi-pro league. You find a semi-pro team around you. A lot of them will. If you got skills, they're gonna use you. Trust me, I know. I've done
I know my girl listening to this, Jocelyn. Come on now. Come on now. I can lose
it.
the weight. Come on now.
So there you go. Hey, you talk about playing DT. You never know. You could probably bump
Oh, they
inside
gonna
the
run
field.
me over. I ain't got the size. I,
Look,
I, I,
listen.
I'm gonna
No,
look
no,
worse
no,
than
no,
the
no,
Giants
no,
look.
no, 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 no. Semi pro is a little bit different. Yes, you'll find a team that has some big dudes, but most teams, the linemen are about your size. To be honest with you, they're
Really?
5'11" to 6'2". And weight ranges, from 240 up to 320, basically. I've been doing it 20 something years, or I was doing it 20 something years. Believe you me, I know. So
You're
there's been
giving me
times.
confidence, coach. I can't even lie. You're giving me a lot of confidence right now.
Now, I will say it depends on the team. If you're looking, it depends on the team and the coach. Because a lot of times you have guys who just come off the street and say, "I'm going to start up a team and I'm the coach," and they don't have any experience. So
Gotcha.
if you really go that route, but I will say it's a lot of fun. I mean, I travel. If you had told me when I first did minor league semi-pro, the amount of traveling I would have done, I would have laughed at you. I've been up and down every state on the East Coast. I've been to Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Kansas, Minnesota, Washington State, Vegas, California. And that's all from minor league semi-pro football through my 20 plus years. So
Wow.
different reasons, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed interacting with people, meeting new people from
Mhm.
all over the country. You know, players who still call me coach to this day, the brotherhood, traveling, whatever. You do your research. You talk to your girl. Go check if you do it. Go check out a team or two. Look at how they do it. Look at how they practice. We'll talk later. I
No,
don't.
no, yeah,
This is
that's
taken away from
you're
your interview.
inspiring me right now because I live like 5 minutes from UCF and they're always taking walk-ons. So you
Now,
inspire
I'm
me.
not talking about college. I said minor league
100%, man.
semi-pro. I said minor league semi-pro. There's a difference now. I'm not talking about college now.
I'm just saying, you inspiring me enough to go walk in the next semester and be like,
No.
Coach,
If you're serious about a
I'm
college,
70 right now, but give me some time.
bro, if you work at it and you want to go do it, bro, I will talk later off
Definitely.
the show. So let's get back to the shows. All right. So in terms of sports, who do you feel was your biggest sports influence, no matter what, whether it was as a player or even as a content creator? Maybe you saw somebody who did a show and you really like the way they do their show. Who do you think is your biggest sports influence overall?
Honestly, man, it's got to be either Eli Manning or Victor Cruz, man. I mean, for the longest, it was Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning, that was the first player that my father put me on to when really just getting indoctrinated into the Giants fanhood. For the longest part of my life and still up to this day, that was the constant professional. That was, to me, when I think of an elite player, to me, that was Eli. And I don't care, when people would tell me, oh, he's not elite, etc. To me, that was Eli. As I got older, especially a little after high school as well, it leans more towards Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, I mean, just everything about him, from the way that he played, to his heritage, which, me being black and Puerto Rican, that was something that, when I saw that salsa, you didn't really see that in the NFL. I felt like a real connection with him, and I wish I could turn the camera so that you could see it, but I actually have a jersey above my where my monitors are at, and Cruz jersey that I have hung up. I actually have 3 of them.
Okay.
He's just one of those players, man, that I really resonated with. His backstory I absolutely loved, and just the story of Victor Cruz. And if I could mold myself into any player right now, I mean, it would be Victor Cruz, if I'm being honest.
Okay, I can respect that, and I see the connection that you're talking about. Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. Because yes, your heritage is a part of that. So and he's the same as you. Jersey boy, the Latino. Well, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but is it Puerto Rican? So
Yeah, so
I get that.
yeah, my father was Jamaican and my mother's Puerto Rican.
No, I was just saying I think he's the same too. He's black and Puerto Rican too, if I'm not mistaken too. So that's what I meant. So yeah. So I get it. I get it. So those are 2 great influences. I don't like you. I don't care what anybody says. Eli. People question whatever, but the man. Hey, if he can beat Tom Brady in 2 Super Bowls, what does that tell you? So and he produces at the money time. That's when it matters the most. So and Victor Cruz, the way he worked up, building up his legacy, and everything that he's done, coming from Paterson, New Jersey. So I respect where you're coming from. And those are some great influences. So all right. Were there any accomplishments that you achieved in sports, and what were they? And what I mean by like a player of the year or whatever, a championship, anything, whatever you felt was an accomplishment. Did you have any?
Yeah, so in terms of like player of the year, anything like that, I'm not gonna lie, nah, that I did not have. In terms of sports, I would say my biggest accomplishment, and I always try to break this down to people, because people that don't live in South Florida, I feel, don't really understand like the importance of football, right? There's certain states where football is just king, like Texas. I would absolutely throw Florida in that conversation. California, you could throw in there as well, I feel. But in South Florida, football is absolutely king. It's regardless of where you're at, it's just it's just something that we all love. It's something that we produce excellent top quality players, especially out of South Florida. Where I played ball at in high school, not only did we have, he's actually in the league right now, we already had a player that joined the league, but our opposing rivals, one, the quarterback was Lamar Jackson. 15 minutes down the road, we played Deerfield Beach High School. That was our number 1 rival. The wide receiver 1 was Jerry Judy, right? On our two, I played for Monarch High School. At our school, our wide receiver one was Calvin Ridley. So you can see like NFL talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our homecoming game, we had played Deerfield Beach High. Jerry Judy was going off, man, and I had 2 touchdowns in there. They were goal line touchdowns, but like I feel like I played a big part in that game.
Yes,
And others, listen, I know my stat line. I was 2 touchdowns for like 10 yards. And I'll take it. I'll take it. We couldn't have won without me, so I'll take it.
Exactly.
That was
Those
my
touchdowns.
biggest accomplishment, but just knowing that, like, because like I said, he was going off. He had 3 touchdowns that game for 300 yards. Like he was going off, and
Wow.
yeah, man, yeah, our defense could not stop nothing. We had a horrible defense. Lamar, I actually spoke about this on Zane's podcast, the Belt Guy. Lamar embarrassed us on our homecoming game. Just absolutely embarrassed us. Like it was disgusting. I believe it was actually like 56-0. Like that's how bad it was.
Wow.
We had no answers for Lamar Jackson. But for Deerfield Beach, man, I mean, to me, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Our running back one, I mean, he was doing his thing. Marquise, he was doing his thing, but like in the 4th quarter, he ended up twisting his ankle. And we just, I mean, despite how I feel, we just didn't run the ball that much in the 4th quarter. We were just really just trying to catch up. And I got me those 2 TDs. I'll take them.
Hey, that's an accomplishment. So I get you. So do you feel that that's been your greatest accomplishment in sports, or is it is it helping others? Is it any business associations, or is it
in terms of sports? I would say yes. In terms of sports, outside of sports, I think one of the hardest things I've had to do was in the middle of the pandemic. I just, I was taking care of my grandmother for years, just me and her. But, I needed a change. I lived in my hometown for so long. And, something was calling to me to move and get closer with my mother, help take care of my little brother, get closer with my sister. And one day I packed all of my belongings, everything that I owned. I put it in my car. And I drove 3 hours north, and I've been here ever since. It's been about 3 years now. I've made my own living out here in Orlando, Florida. And, that was hard. I didn't have any movers. I had little to no money in my name. I didn't have a job at all. And I was able to, come out here, make a name for myself. And, yeah, like I said, it's been about 3 years now.
That's amazing, man. And I have a greater deal of respect for you, because that's scary right there in itself, to pack everything and move, go to an area you don't know, no money, literally nobody other than, a few family members. That's scary. I mean, I'm in Jersey. I've been living in Jersey 50 years, families all over the country, moms and my sister down in Georgia, like, come on down here. And I'm like, no, I'm a Jersey boy. Why?
I get it.
I've been here 50 years. I'm too scared to leave Jersey. It's what I know. But for you to do that, I mean, that's strong will. And you know what? That's from sports. Being determined, working hard, and I bro, much respect to you for that, man. So
thank you. No, and it's funny you say that, because I do tie sports a little bit into it. Because when I did play, my father's mentality with everything would just be, just don't give up, and put 100% into it, And I like to have this mindset where even if like the worst thing does happen to me, I do try to think about it in a positive light. I try not to dwell too much into the negatives, though at times it can be hard. We're all human. But I remember when I was even thinking about it, I had some people, they're not in my circle anymore, but I had some people at the time that were just trying to discourage me of it, like, oh, it's the pandemic. We don't know what's going on right now. You're not working right now. Like, how are you going to make it? I wasn't going to move with my family, like in their home. I was going to go get me my own place. And like I said, yeah, it's been 3 years. I'm happy where I'm at. And one thing that I absolutely love, we had it in South Florida. It just wasn't as strong, but we have so many Giants fans here in Orlando. So, I've seen a couple Giants bars. I'm trying to get into those this year. it's worked out for the better, man. So I really appreciate that.
Well, let me ask you this, because you've been in Florida pretty much your whole life.
Mhm.
Why the Giants? I mean, I know you said your dad, but
Yeah.
why? How? I mean, you're in Florida. You're in South Florida. Why not the Dolphins?
Yeah. So initially, I was born in Starrett City, Brooklyn.
Okay.
I moved down here to Florida when I was around like 7 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
We moved here, and I've been in South Florida ever since. But really, what it was just seeing the Blues, seeing how my whole family would come together every Sunday. Every Monday if we could, really just Sundays more than anything, and just cheer for this team. And my father would really explain like how important the Giants were to the family. And
Okay.
I didn't understand it at first, and then as I got older, they still to this day take it very seriously. And I take it even more serious. My girl, she
Mm-hmm.
hates it, but I take it very serious. Up until like last year, I didn't have any friends that were opposing rivals. Which is crazy, but I took it that serious. I didn't want friends that were Cowboys fans. I didn't want friends that were Eagles fans or Commanders fans. I just didn't. I just didn't. But it's funny. In South Florida, like you do have a lot of Dolphins fans, but
Mm-hmm.
within like the last couple years, up until then, the Dolphins really weren't doing anything, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the Hurricanes, the Hurricanes in Miami, they go hand in hand. I would argue that when Miami is on top, their fans come out a lot more than the Dolphins fans down there. And then also because you have people moving from all around the country, moving to South Florida or Florida in general for retirement. You see a lot of Cowboys fans, you see a lot of Giants fans, Patriots fans.
Mm.
So you get a mix of a lot of different fans. You don't really see too many Dolphins fans up until the last recent years. So.
Okay. And just for the audience, the Hurricanes, you're talking about the hockey team, correct?
Oh no, the Miami Hurricanes, the football team.
Oh, okay, the college team. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh no,
The
Hurricanes.
the
No, the
Panthers
Hurricanes
are
are North Carolina. The Panthers is in Florida. They're playing for the championship now. That's right.
correct. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No,
That's so
you're good.
just all right. So now, are there any other aspects of sports that you've been involved in? For example, journalism, marketing, or anything of that nature?
I've been trying to get more into like sports journalism in most
Mm-hmm.
recent years, especially like with like content creating and trying to get because I don't want to just give a take to just give a take. I want it to be more, thought out. I want it to be a little bit more in depth as to why I'm thinking this way, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sports journalism has been something that in recent years, like the last 3 to 4 years, I've been trying to take more seriously, trying to learn the ropes of it without having to
Mm-hmm.
go to school for it, just because I can't afford to go to school for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I've really grown to enjoy. And I would have never thought that at all. If you would have told me 5, 6 years ago that hey, you would be really getting an interest into sports journalism, I probably would have laughed at you. I probably would have because I barely read books. So like I would have straight up laughed in your face, man. So nah, I would definitely say that. And I'm still learning. And there's some people that I really respect their sports journalism.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask them. I'll be like, you got any advice? How can I be better? And the ones that are willing to share that information, I'm very, very grateful for.
No, I understand. Years ago, I tried a little bit of sports journalism, so I understand. So, had a friend who actually had his own online publication, and he had me cover a couple of games. So, and I did interviews, I did all of that, recorded interviews, wrote up, the stories. He edited a little bit more, so
That's awesome.
I'll we'll talk more offline about that too. So,
Definitely, definitely.
so definitely going to help you grow there. So. Now, with your YouTubing, what got you started in that?
Really, for me, it was I didn't have a lot of friends, and still don't. Well, actually, no, more now than I do that. But I didn't have a lot of friends that were really into football, or let alone into football the way that I was into football.
Hmm.
And my love for the game. I've missed one game like in my entire life. I've missed one game, and I joke about it with my girl. You know, I say, you know, you could take my girl, my kids. I don't got kids, but you can take my future kids. You can take my house. You can take my car. But you just can't take football from me, man. Like that's the one thing that I got that I just absolutely love. And nah, man, I don't know. I just love the game so much, man.
Okay. No, I understand where you're coming from. Do you, I mean, do you enjoy it when you do it? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
why
no,
do
oh, no, no, I absolutely. I mean, wow, I just realized I didn't even answer your question. No, but that's what really, that's what really got me into content creating. I didn't have friends that really spoke sports, and you know, I would have to, you know, really just talk to myself in my room on my thoughts of the game, and you know, what I thought went wrong, what I thought, you know, they should have done, and you know, I remember there was this YouTuber I saw. I believe his name was Terror Belly or T Belly. He was one of, at the time, like the few Giants content creators on YouTube at the time. You know, with Bad Dog. This was before Chris the Entertainer. You know, this was around like Ron Effect, around that time, around that era. And you know, I love the energy that he brought. He was saying things that I wanted to say, and I'm just like, you know what? I could do this. You know, I could turn my phone sideways. I didn't have a camera at the time or a computer. I was like, I could turn my phone sideways after a game and be like, these are my thoughts. You know, these are my thoughts of the game. And I have those videos taken down from during that time just because I look at them compared to now and I'm like, boy, they were bad. They were really bad. Grainy. I had a horrible phone. The audio was terrible, but I tried. I made do with what I had, and you know, I'm very happy I did it because I think outside of the YouTube community, I have maybe 3 friends in total that are into football, and they have one of them is a Jets fan, the other one is a Cowboys fan, and the other one is a Saints fan. Still not talking Giants with anyone. You feel me? So very grateful that I continue doing it because the Giants community is something that I don't take for you know, for granted. The people, you know, such as yourself, Coach, that I've met, you know, doing this YouTube stuff has been just incredible, and I would not change it for the world, man. And I'm happy that I did it years ago.
Okay. Do you find yourself more analytic in terms of dissecting the game now, in terms of, you know, I'm a coach, so
Yeah,
you know, I
yeah.
look at it in a coach's view. Do you find yourself at times looking at it in that realm, you know, almost like feeling like you're a coach, you're looking at some of the techniques the players are doing, you know, that they needed to do, or you could feel that they needed to do this, they need to do that, or the play call, you know, something. Do you find yourself analyzing it in that way as opposed to just a fan, you know, who's riding and dying with his team?
I would say more analytical, to be honest with you. Especially throughout the years as I learned the game more, and you know, I'm trying to get to a point where like I can really sit down and fully dissect NFL film. You know, I'm starting to learn it more. I know, you know, in the past, and actually, you know, I try to tell you, you know, I love watching your film breakdowns. I mean, you have a way of breaking down film that just for someone that doesn't know film, like they're gonna leave with greater knowledge than what they had. But for me, I try to look at it from like really just from that eye, you know, and I understand when fans look at it from like the fan perspective. But you know, there's certain things that it's like it was the right play, but this went wrong, you know, or you know, that was the wrong play. This should have happened, you know, or you know, sometimes you know it just wasn't your day, you know, and you know that's what I love about the game, man. It's really a game of inches, you know, and it's just it's something that I don't know. Like as I got older, as I learned the game more, I realized that I just started looking at it differently. And I've been trying to get my girl to look at it from that perspective as well. She doesn't really get it yet, but I'm still trying.
No, I understand. And tell her, go play women's football. There are women's football leagues out there, so it'll help her.
Somebody, I know that.
But guess what? You'll find more women who are learning the game by doing that.
Wow.
So, trust me, I was asked to come out years ago to speak to It was the Jersey Flames,
Mm.
and the question these ladies were asking, they were hungry to learn the game, and not just sitting on the couch watching it and cheering when somebody does well or not, but they want to understand, just like you, the X's, the O's, the why is something like this done. And that's ultimately that's what most fans really, true fans, I say, really want to do. They want to understand why something is done.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
you've
agree.
heard me say it so many times, what's the down and distance? That's the biggest thing, because coaches are creatures of habit. And we have on certain down and distance, we have certain plays that we call. That is just that simple. And when I explain that to some fans, especially women, they look at me like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes, it's that simple. If you understand the down and distance and you understand the team, and if you study them, you can pick up exactly what they're going to do." That's why a lot of pros, it says he almost knew the route, what he was going to do, because why? Film study.
Yep.
You understand the down and distance and things of that nature. So tell your girl, go play with if there's a women's team around,
Listen,
or next thing you know, you both will be out there playing. So, um,
man.
what are some important lessons you've taken from your interaction with sports?
Man, um, I want to say not be so, and it's hard, but I want to say not be so reactionary. Um, I would really, yeah, I would say not be so reactionary. I would say younger me, I would react first before sitting down, letting those emotions, just kind
Mhm.
of fizzle out. Let me cool down a little bit and then get my thoughts out, because there would be times, I would just react, without thinking. And, as I, unfortunately, we all had to go through those bad years with the Giants. It took a lot of patience. It took a lot of
Mhm.
patience. There were
Mhm.
some games where you want to turn off the TV, and I'll be the first to tell people. And my girl think I'm crazy. I really don't care. We could be getting blown out 56-0. I might have tears running down my face, but I'm watching it from the game starts until the game ends. I'm not turning
Mhm.
it off. I will go through
Exactly.
that pain with that team. And before, I would still do that, but I find myself yelling and screaming and pacing back and forward. Now I'm just like, I'm gonna let these emotions kind of fizzle. I'm gonna feel these emotions, and then I'm gonna get my thoughts out when I can think with a clearer head. So
Do you feel that these emotions and the being patient, do you think that they have been some type of a contribution to your life outside of sports?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I take mental health seriously.
Hmm.
And for me, it's like there were certain things that I learned in the mental health world. Like with breathing exercises, understanding your emotions, understanding how you're feeling in that moment, and with me applying it to my everyday life, I tried applying it in terms of when I watch the game of football, because
Hmm.
that I could be having the most dreadful week. But on Sunday, it's like the best day ever, just because
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
excited to see this team play. And even if it is a loss, I'm grateful that I was able to wake up that day and see that team, see my favorite team play on the field. And I really do try to apply the things that I've learned in that space towards football, just because
Hmm.
I love it. Like I said, I love it so much that like I don't know how to explain it, but like, I feel like when the team loses, we lost. You know what I mean? Like, and I know I'm
Hmm.
not part of the team. There's some people out there that will give me crap for saying we, and I'm just like, no, like I've put so much of my time and energy and life into this team. You damn well it's a we. Like I am somehow part of the team. We all are, so I really do try to apply the things that I've learned into sports, and it's really helped a lot. I'm trying to get to the point where I could stream a game, and do it how some content creators do it, but I am not there yet. So I'm
No,
just not. I'm just not
no,
there yet. I see an
no.
interception, a turnover, and I'm screaming. I'm screaming at my screen. I don't want to do that to my listeners. So when I get to that point,
Bro, let me
gotcha.
let me say so. You've been on one of the on the streams, God rest his soul, Jeffy T.
Yeah.
You know our brother. And you know how he was, and whether it's the
Boy.
Nets or the Giants, and he's watching the game. You know,
All right,
trust me.
man. Yeah, for real. Jeff was man. But I understood. That's the thing. It's like I get it. Like I completely get it. Especially like how he would react with like the Nets. Like I get it. And it's like I always feel that those who understand get it. Those that don't are gonna look at you crazy and be like, "It's just a game. You're not even playing it. Why are you?" And it's like you don't get it. You don't understand. Like it's. And again, I've reached the point in my life where it's like if you get it, cool, we could talk. But if you don't get it, I'm gonna be talking to a brick wall. You're not gonna understand why I'm feeling this way. You're gonna think I'm being dramatic. You're gonna think that I'm a little crazy, which I am. Like. Nah.
Trust me, I understand. My kids are growing up seeing me talking to, to be honest with you, a lot of times I'm yelling at the coaches. I'm not yelling at the players. I'm like, yo, coach, what the hell? What kind of play is that? Why would you run that at that? And I'm always saying at that down and distance. Why? So, and my girls are, they look at me and, yeah, I get what you're saying. I get it. And, they now get it because they've experienced that and they grew up in it. So yes, most fans I think are like you. Yeah, they're kind of like you. So, but I will say this, doing streams with Jeff, it opened me up to a new world that I appreciate more. And in terms of the fans, I mean, we Giants fans are
passionate.
You on Twitter, you see it sometimes. It's but. The biggest thing I take from that is we're all passionate about the New York Football Giants.
Absolutely.
We all are. So and that's what that's from. It's that passion, you have. So I get it. So bro, if sometimes just go ahead and do it. You probably will draw more people in than you realize because you're being genuine.
Yeah, I've thought about it that way too. I'm like, well, people like seeing that raw reaction, that raw feeling. I just think about it from like the mic perspective because like I'm a loud talker. Like I don't know, like I talk soft, but I also talk pretty loud. So it's like, I know like when I watch the games, I tend to be loud. I feel bad for the people that live above me. At times, they're actually loud as hell. But at times, I feel bad, because I'm screaming. I might bang on my desk. I have stuff hanging on my desk. Sometimes fall down because I'm smacking my desk. And it's funny. I had one point in my life where I would actually curse at the coach. I never cursed when we had Shermer. I cursed once with Joe Judge with that QB sneak, but that was really it. I would curse at Ben McAdoo like constantly. If my father was here, I mean, the amount of time, I don't know if I could curse on here, but the amount of times that I would scream, at Ben McAdoo, you fat fuck, blah blah blah, and I'm a big dude too. It was, I never experienced that. I didn't have that issue with Tom Coughlin. I didn't have that issue with Pat Shermer. For most of Joe Judge's career, I didn't have that issue with Ben McAdoo, especially that second year. Everything was falling apart. That was the first and really like the last time in full length, where I would just curse at the coach, not even the team, but just because we were riddled with injuries. I knew what we were talent-wise, but just coaching-wise, how predictable our offense was, how bad our offensive line was, on top of Eli Manning being old, the statue that he was. It was just a whole mess. And I took it out on McAdoo in his oversized suits.
Okay, I want to swing it back a little bit because I got away from your YouTubing. Okay, so how do you consider your YouTubing style?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. That's a good question.
What I mean by, some people are, smooth, suave with it. Some are more informative, more, news really, like Jeff was more, we always say Jeff was a reporter. Some are just smooth, me, I'm analytical a lot of times with my approaches. If you think about, within our group, Pat, Lou, Joel, NYG, how do you feel thinking about how everyone that I just spoke about and their approaches? How what is Hit Squad's YouTubing
Yeah.
approach?
I would definitely say informative, absolutely. But one thing that I try to make people feel when they click on my channel, when they're doing a stream with me or a video with me, is I want you to feel like we're in a barbershop, we're in a lounge, and we're just talking ball. Like
Mhm,
I'm not
mhm,
here, to I have no problem debating. I have no problems with that whatsoever. But I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear,
mhm,
why do you think the way that you do? Because I'm gonna tell
mhm,
you why I think the way that I do. And you're
mhm,
gonna leave with a little bit more information than what you came with. But
mhm,
I've
mhm,
always just loved sitting down with people and hearing people's thoughts and thought processes on why they think the way that they do, why they feel the way that they do. So I try to apply that with mine as well. But I just want it to be a safe space. I want people to come in, realize like, okay, we're in the lounge, we're talking ball, all right, let's kick it. Let's just talk. Like I'm not gonna tell you what to say, whichever, give you a script. I might tell you, okay, this is what I was thinking of talking about. Floor is yours. Like, let's talk ball.
mhm,
I just try to leave it at that. I've been trying to make more. I have new things that I'm gonna be unveiling, excuse me, on the
mhm,
channel for this upcoming season.
mhm,
A lot of different things, which I'm really excited for. But overall, again, I just want people to feel like when they step into my channel, when they watch my videos, it's just you and me. We're just talking. We're just talking ball. Talking about the one thing that we love and care about, whether that's the Giants, whether that's just football in general. And I know you've seen it before where I've had guests from other teams come on the channel,
mhm, mhm,
and it's I love getting that knowledge and perspective from their fan base because I'm a little weird. When I get to know these people, like we exchange social medias, I like to take a deep dive into like their community because if you really just follow one community, it's just kind of like, all right, like this is just it. But like
mhm,
seeing how the Giants community reacts, each community that I've met from opposing teams is so different. It is
mhm.
so different. And I say this with full confidence, man. And like, I genuinely mean this. As much as Giants Twitter at time pisses me off, I love it because at the end of the day, we just want this team to succeed. We
Mhm,
want this team, to be the best that it can be. And I've seen people go neck to neck with each other one day, and then the next day, they're
mhm,
giving each other props. But
mhm,
I've seen in other teams, communities, it is not like that at all.
mhm.
Like at all. It's really like it's not as communicative. People aren't really interacting with each other. You might have a couple people that stand out, but for the most part, not. And that's why I really appreciate the Giants community, man.
That's an interesting perspective. I mean, I never, I've deal with a couple of outside communities within, not the Giants communities, but other NFL professional communities, their team. So, and that's an interesting perspective. I mean, I never would have thought that, the other communities are so separated because I always say it always leaves me feeling sometimes that we are too separated, but you're teaching me to look at it from a different perspective. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So,
No, absolutely. And there are some similarities. So there are some like fan bases that I've met where I'm like, okay, no, they're very similar to the Giants. Obviously, like
hmm
the Eagles,
hmm
Cowboys fans. I mean, they are just crazy over there
hmm
in Dallas. But no, for the most part, like I've driven into like the Dolphins community, the 49ers community, the Vikings community, and it's just it's very interesting to see how fans either come together or separate. And then I try to compare it to how Giants Twitter is, and it's vastly different. There's some
hmm
similarities, but it's vastly
hmm
different, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Okay. Now, with your YouTubing, what are your ultimate goals through your YouTubing? What do you wish for, hope for, expect, want?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I want when it comes with my YouTubing is I want to build a platform where people like myself, people like really just the ones that tune into my channel, they have a voice. They can come in and speak their mind. I never want people to feel like there's a superiority complex or anything like that. Like, come in, talk your talk, and I want to get to a point where like I can have different angles of different cameras I want to be able to get to a point where like I can have this big round desk, and what you see now, I want it like an actual LED, like handmade LED behind me instead of on my green screen when I create these images, and these GIFs where not on StreamYard but on OBS you see them move around a lot more. I would like that to be more like real. Like I strive to have something like like the Pat McAfee show, or something like that where it's like legit, where I can bring
Hmm.
a lot of my Giants friends on there. We could just talk Giants ball or just what's going on with the league and just be ourselves.
Um, that's interesting. The first thing is because you were talking about doing your green screen and working on OBS. Ladies and gentlemen, I can attest to this. This man is very creative. He knows his stuff. You know, I know the radio audience can't see it, so when you get a chance, jump on YouTube. You'll be able to see the live video, but you'll see just a small taste of some of his graphics that he does. Because that's all that you did right there.
Thank you.
Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So yeah, so he does great work. So I really appreciate it. He's helped me, a couple of times with a couple of things. So I appreciate your work there. So
Absolutely. I mean, and one thing I know I've told you this, Coach.
mhm,
I will never have a problem sharing knowledge. I don't agree with the idea that knowledge should be kept within. If you know
mhm,
something and genuinely someone is just curious, they're just like, how did you do that? You were at one point where you wanted to know too.
mhm,
You wanted to
mhm,
know too, and you didn't know, but you figured it out. I have no problems, giving advice or tips or like, hey, this is what I use. Give it a shot because you might turn around and make something even better. And I have no problem lending a hand or showing love to anyone just because the love that I get, the hands that people have lent me in terms of, hey, you should try this or like whichever. It's I'm very grateful for it, and I'll never turn down giving someone a tip or hey, this is what I use. Try this out. I got no problems doing that.
it's a beautiful thing to have, man.
Thank you.
Um, Now, for the audience, give an example of a challenging situation you've encountered, and because of sports, you've been able to battle through.
Man, that's that's really good. I would say when my little brother, since he was born, he's just been like he's been in and out of hospitals. He's dealt with
Mhm,
health issues his entire life. It's something that it affects me every day. I mean, it's part of the reason why I moved to where I moved at now to help take
mhm,
care of him. But just there's been some very dark times. Like when he's had cancer.
Sorry.
That I had no, thank you. I appreciate that. Where I had to really, really look at myself and be like, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to
Mhm,
mentally get through this? And truthfully, like I try to tap into those times where I was younger, where I didn't feel like I could, continue a practice, or I didn't feel like I could, continue a game because I was hurt, or because I was
mhm,
tired, or because mentally I just wasn't in it that day. But I pushed through it because at the end of the day, like I knew I could do it. I knew that I'd be able to come out through that other side. I might be beaten up, I might be on the floor, I might be whichever, but I got through that. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna
mhm,
be stronger the next time it come around. And anytime something happens with my brother, I really do try to tap back into that to where it's like, okay, like let me try to relax a little bit. Everything's gonna be all right, and we're gonna get through this. You know.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, and that shows the strength of character in you. So great respects to you, and you know, um, don't always forget. I'm always here outside of this, so I'm here for you, bro. So
Likewise, thank you, Coach, and I'm here too, man. Thank you.
thank you. So now, people or businesses, they want to get in contact with you. How can they reach you?
Yeah, I'm really on YouTube and Twitter the most. But I would say Twitter more than anything. But for
Hmm.
YouTube, you can find me under Hitsquad Productions on YouTube. I make Giants content on there, and then you can find me on Twitter as Hitsquad Prod, Prod as in David, and then you just do an underscore after the T, and you'll find me. Or you can just
Okay.
Hit Squad Productions on Twitter, and you'll find me. I've made sure.
Okay.
You'll be
Okay.
able to find me just by typing that in. And yeah, I leave my DMs open so that if anyone wants to reach out, whether that's business, whether that's some random on the internet, you know. So
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress enough. Reach out to him. He's a great content creator. Does great work. I know you guys will love him. So definitely reach out. So,
thank
well,
you.
Hit Squad. In closing, is there anything else you want the audience to know about you, your ventures, or anything about Hit Squad overall?
Man, we're gonna be doing some really cool stuff on the channel, especially for this season. I'm a little nervous, but I'm more excited than anything. It's gonna be some new stuff that I haven't tried before. I've been trying to work out the kinks, and I got it down for the most part. So
Mhm.
I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited for another season of the Big Blue Breakdown. I got
Mhm.
us, the people for the year that we're gonna have on for every opposing team. So you guys, when you click on those videos, you're going to get the perspective of Giants fans and the perspective of the respective opposing team that we're playing that
Mhm.
week. Just
Mhm.
because I like to really just provide as much information as I can. I want you to leave with a greater deal of knowledge, if not a little bit of knowledge, than what you had coming into my videos. So I'm just really excited for this year, man, and going forward.
Well, I am too. I definitely love those shows that you bring. So, it does bring you closer to the oppositions in a positive way, and you
Yeah.
can appreciate the game more. So, you do a great job. So, thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning in for this interview. Thank you. Um, you know what I always say. So, in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. I'll be back in a minute.
Having credit issues? Tired of getting denied for a car, a loan, or house? Let Wise Consulting Solutions help you improve your scores and get you back on track. Sign up and schedule a free consultation and credit analysis today.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for sticking with me. Going to be talking about a little NBA. I'm going to be talking about John Morant. Now, this segment is sponsored by Shadow Worlds Radio, one of my sponsors who continues to do great things and allows me this great platform. Shadow Worlds Radio brings you great entertainment, great community talk, sports, you name it, they're there. They're out in the community consistently, being supportive, whether it's through the Boy Scouts or being there through many different community outreach programs. Shadow Worlds Radio is definitely the place to be. Now, I said I'm going to talk about the John Morant situation. I was reading an article earlier today. It's from Athon Sports. The journalist is Cameron Flynn. And the title, it says, Stephen A. Smith reveals terrifying concern he's heard from NBA community about John Morant. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it. All right, there's two little paragraphs, well, not little, but two paragraphs I'm going to read. And then I'm going to dive into it and talk about it and give you my perspective. Because to be honest with you, it is concerning. This is very concerning. Not only for sports, the NBA, but our communities. As a grandfather of a young granddaughter, I don't want my granddaughter seeing stuff like this and thinking that this is the possibility of what has to happen. But let me get into it. It reads like this. The situation surrounding Grizzlies star Ja Morant continues to be a major talking point in the NBA world this week. Morant, who was suspended 8 games by the NBA for brandishing a weapon at a Denver area club in March, is now awaiting word on a second firearm-related suspension after he allegedly flashed a handgun during an Instagram Live video in May. According to ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, though, important members of the NBA community are no longer just concerned about Morant's ability to return to basketball. People within the NBA community are not just concerned with Ja Morant playing basketball. They're concerned about whether or not he'll be alive in 5 years, Smith shared. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver on Wednesday announced that a disciplinary decision on Morant will be shared after the conclusion of the finals. We've uncovered a fair amount of additional information, Silver said. We probably could have brought it to a head now, but we've made the decision that it would be unfair to these players and these teams to announce that decision in the middle of this series. Unlike some in the NBA world, though, Smith isn't anticipating a season-long suspension for Morant. In the case of Adam Silver, I don't suspect he'll go that far, Smith said. I don't think it'll be the entire season. I don't even think it'll be half a season. I anticipate it'll be 25 games, something along those lines. Now, that last quote I just read to you was on the Rich Eisen show, where Rich Eisen was interviewing Stephen A. in reference to this. But let me go to the first part, the first most concerning part, where the comment is people within the NBA community are not concerned with Ja Morant playing basketball. They're concerned about whether or not he'll be alive in 5 years. That says a lot. That says a lot. What type of environment is a professional athlete putting himself in? A professional athlete who's set to make over $200 million, or could. If you don't know the situation in terms of Ja Morant, these are the factors. All right. There was a situation where he got into an altercation with a juvenile. I don't know the exact age, but he then went and got a firearm, which kind of ended that situation. There was a discrepancy or argument with members or people associated with the Indiana Pacers, and then members of his group were pulling out laser pens and putting the red dots on people, basically alluding to they have a gun with the laser scope on it. So you're putting fear in other people's lives. The Denver area club, when he was at a strip club and it was being videotaped, he pulled out a gun and, just showed it off. And just recently, an Instagram Live with one of his friends. His friends panned over to him and he was brandishing a gun before it was the camera was quickly pulled away from him. Why is a young man like this, 23 years old, or however he is, 23, 24, 25, why does he first and foremost feel the need that he needs to have a gun? There have been plenty of professional athletes who've gone out and just hired security. If you're that concerned, you hire the security to protect you. But this is telling me you're bringing a street element around you for what? For street cred? I don't understand it. And now you have people in the NBA community who are worrying about this young man living in 5 years. I never would have thought I would have heard something like this, that a superstar in the NBA, people were going to eventually be concerned with said player living another 5 years. Now, you hear that out on the streets. Don't get me wrong. People are always selling drugs or whatever the case may be, or involved in a life of crime. That's the rules of that game. You know, you don't understand the rules. You play by it. You get involved with it, then you understand the rules, and you just got to deal with the consequences. But this, kids work hard playing basketball, playing sports to get an opportunity like this because they don't want to have to live their lives like that. And you have a young man, gifted, truly, truly, truly gifted athlete, going out here and, to me, throwing it away. For what? You're going to lose your endorsement deals. That's extra money that you have. You're going to lose endorsement opportunities to the future. Heck, you may have even had the opportunity to make films, whatever. You have the world in your hand, and you want to do it because you want to lose it because of actions like this. Now, you got suspended 8 games, and 2 months later, you're brandishing a gun again? The young man is not stupid, man. People have talked about that. They've said that he's a smart young man. But why? I don't get that. I don't. Because if you get to this pinnacle in your life, hey, you need to tell people in that world, look, bro, I can't go back down that road. Because all that's going to end up happening, you're going to get yourself killed, like the concern there, even locked up. Locked up for life. For what? You have a young child. That should be your family. That should be your focus. Not walking around brandishing a gun on camera to, show whatever your street cred or, whatever. Because you're also telling a lot of young kids out there that this is the way you should be acting. Pick up a gun. Kids who don't know how to truly use a gun. And they're going to go out and just pop it off and hurt themselves or hurt innocent people. But I'm going to bring it back to the biggest thing that, caused me, that was so shocking and surprising, is the concern that he won't be alive in 5 years, or that he'll not be alive in 5 years. That's a big statement, because what's going on? I mean, is he involved in an environment that, or he has small associations, or he has people who are heavily involved with that, and he needs to be made aware of it? That it could put your life, your child's life, your family's life in danger? When people start thinking that, or wondering if you're going to be alive in a couple of years, that's a big thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I know many of you probably might know people like that. I don't know. But the point I'm making is, if you hear that, how would you think? What would you think? Wouldn't you say, no, I wouldn't want my child or my family member to be involved in that type of environment, especially if they're playing professional sports? Now, to the NBA, to Commissioner Silver, I commend you for this fact. You're ready to make a decision, but you did not want to take away from the NBA Finals. Now, many are going to say, hey, that's a business decision. He understood the money involved with it. Yeah, it's smart. It's smart not to do that. But it's also, as they said, We've made the decision that it would be unfair to these players and these teams to announce that decision in the middle of this series. Yes, because the topic would not be about the NBA Finals, it would be about Ja Morant. That's all they would hear. And you would have these members of these teams who are not associated with the Memphis Grizzlies to have to answer these questions each and every time. So I commend them for that. I commend the commissioner for that, for doing that, for taking that road. That's the right thing to do in terms of that. Now, in terms of the suspension, yes, there are those who think it should be a season long. Stephen A thinks it's going to be about 25 games. I don't know. Personally, based on everything that I just laid out for you, I do think it should be a full season. Make it hurt for him, but also, some of you may not like what I'm going to say about this, but you know what? You make it hurt his teammates, because now they got to look at him and he has to come back and look at them and say, I impacted the season by my actions, my selfish actions, because those are selfish actions by Mr. Ja Morant. And that's why I say a season long, full 82 games and the playoffs. A year away from the game of basketball. It's going to hurt your team because he's a key component. Now it could, really draw the team together, but ultimately it's going to be a challenge, and a season long would hurt, because any athlete, if you're forced to stay away from your sport for any period of time, whether it's injury or suspension, that hurts. And you do it for a season, they're out there battling while you're not there with them. Whether they go on to win a championship or not, you weren't there to be there with them through the day-to-day grind. That's why I think it should be a full season. You gave him 8 games. Going to 25 games, that's too lenient. And he could just laugh it off and say, ha, 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 I can do it again. And you know what? Next time they might just give me half a season. No. Now, in that interview with Rich Eisen, Stephen A said it. He said Ja Morant better be thankful that it's Adam Silver and not the former commissioner. God rest his soul. Because he would have been gone for the whole season, if not even longer. Mr. Morant, Mr. Ja Morant, brother, I hope you can get your stuff together, man. Because you are a great talent, man. You definitely are, but you're creating a firestorm that is bad for yourself, your organization, and to be honest with you, you're forcing these teams, these owners, these GMs, these presidents, because they're going to associate all the following players just like you. And they're going to look at them in a different way, and you're going to make it harder for them. And they're going to have to come through. They might even come up with even harsher rules and so on and so forth. Maybe that is needed. Maybe it is. But you know what? You're now making it harder for those who are coming after you. I hope guys in the NBA, I hope guys like LeBron, like KD, the true superstars in the NBA right now, grab this brother by the shirt collar and pull him into a closet, sit down and grill him. Yo, what are you doing to the game? What are you doing to yourself? Somebody needs to reach him. Because right now, he's just out there doing whatever, and he's going to hurt himself. He's going to get others hurt, man. And I hope somebody can really, really get through to this young man intellectually, his mentality, his psyche, and help him see that he's almost literally throwing his life away For what though? For what? I don't know his complete upbringings. I've heard different things. I've heard he was a prep school boy. He wasn't raised like that. So if that is true, then it baffles me as to why this young man is going down this road right now, man. It makes no sense. None to me. None whatsoever. Please, someone, help this young man. In this world, we're losing too many young brothers, and I don't want to see other brothers start acting a fool and thinking that they can brandish guns and talk trash and wave, laser beams at people and not think there aren't any consequences behind it. Because there's always a consequence to your action, man. Always. Somebody wake this brother up, please. Please. All right, everyone. Thanks for you guys listening to me, and we'll be back right after this to talk more.
The League of All Leagues is an adult professional football league that is beyond the game. The league is headed by one of the sport's premier women leaders of a men's football league, who has designed the league to assist in the development of players, teams, and owners as they work towards achieving their respective personal and organizational goals. Based in Linden, New Jersey, the League of All Leagues is comprised of teams playing in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. The league emphasizes sports business as all of its members are a registered business entity, professionalism, and establishing itself as the premier adult amateur professional league experience on the East Coast. Its mission is to provide the athletes, coaches, and businesses the elite opportunity to present their teams in the most professional league around. Each team provides their communities with great fan fest, interactions, and opportunities to continue cheering on their local heroes. If you are looking for some of the area's best football, come out to a game near you. You can find the League of All Leagues on YouTube at www.youtube.com/League of All Leagues Football 6326 or on Instagram at www.instagram.com/League of All Leagues Alliance.
Good everyone, back, and we're going to talk a little WNBA. What I'm going to do is just give you a quick update on the quick standings. Pretty much, we're really rocking into our fifth, sixth game of the season so far, and so far it's shaping up kind of the way I thought it was going to be. Right now, coming in at number 12 is the Seattle Storm. They're at 0-3, so they haven't won a game. Next is the Minnesota Lynx. They're 1 win, 6 losses. So this was their first win of the season. So their star, number 2 overall draft pick, Donna Miller, she's out right now with an ankle injury. So hopefully she'll be back. Coming in at number 10 is the Phoenix Mercury. They have 1 win and 3 losses. This is they now are on a 1-game losing streak. So they won a game and then lost one. So they started 0-2, picked up a win, and now they just got another loss. Coming at number 9, the Indiana Fever at 1-3. They're on a 1-game losing streak. Coming in at number 8, the Atlanta Dream, 2-3. They just recently lost. Coming in at number 7, the Los Angeles Sparks at 2-2. They just recently won their game. At number 6, the Chicago Sky at 3-3. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Coming in at 5, at 3-3 are the Washington Mystics. They're on a 1-game losing streak. Coming in at number 4, the Dallas Wings at 3-2. They're on a 1-game losing streak. Coming in at number 3, the New York Liberty. They're 4-1, and they're on a 4-game winning streak after losing their first game. Coming in at number 2, the Connecticut Sun. They're 5-1. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And number 1, the Las Vegas Aces, the defending champs, at 5-0. so they haven't lost. So they're in a 5-game winning streak. So that's what we have right now in terms of the standings. In terms of leaders, seasonal leaders, in terms of points, number 1 is Jewel Lloyd of the Seattle Storm. She's at 26 a game. Number 2 is Brianna Stewart with the Liberty at 24.4. Arike Ogunbowale from Dallas is 23.8. Jackie Young from the Aces is 22.4. And Brittany Griner comes in at number 5 at 22 a game. In terms of rebounds, it's Nalisa Smith from Indiana at 12. Alicia Thomas at Connecticut at 11.8 at number 2. Brianna Stewart comes in at 3 at 10.4. Easy Magagore from Seattle at 10.3. And Satu Savali from Dallas at 10 comes in at 5. In terms of assists, number 1 is Courtney Vandersloot at 8.6 from the Liberty. She's number 1. Number 2, tied for number 2, is Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces, and Lisa Thomas from Connecticut at 7 assists a game. Tied for 4 is Natasha Cloud in Washington, and Diana Taurasi at Phoenix, both at 6.5 per game. So those are just a couple of stats I just wanted to talk about real quickly, give you a little heads up. So give my daily WNBA talk. And that's pretty much going to be it for right now. Going to continue to follow through. I'm loving the games that I've been watching. So these ladies are amazing. And, hope to bring you more after this. So right after this, I'm going to take a break and I'll be back. All right, people. Thanks a lot for everything you do for the show. Right now, we're going to get into a little NHL and NBA news. Now, both are in their playoff modes, really in the final stages to win the championship. It's coming down to that now. In the NHL, you have the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Florida Panthers, and they just played Saturday night. Vegas came away with the win. They won 5-2 over Florida. Panthers forward Eric Stahl, he started the scoring in the first period, scoring a goal, putting up the Panthers 1-0. Now the Golden Knights answered that back by scoring 2 unanswered goals. That was scored by Jonathan Marchessault and Shea Theodore. Florida eventually tied it up in the second period. Anthony Duclair is the one who tied the score up. In the third period, the Golden Knights had scores from Zach Whitecloud, Mark Stone, and Riley Smith to give the final score of 5-2. In the series, that puts up Vegas up 1-0 over Florida. So it's an interesting series in this regard. You have the NHL and the NBA both playing, but one of the big things is they both have a Florida team in the championship. The Florida Panthers, who play out of Miami, and also the Miami Heat in the NBA. So Marchessault, he's been pretty hot during the playoffs. Not initially, but in the last 11, he scored 10 goals. So he's been pretty much on point for the Golden Knights. So he's going to stay hot. He's going to be one that you're going to have to watch in that series. I'm going to chime in a little bit more because I have been taking a look, trying to follow along. But one thing that notes are telling me that the Golden Knights are doing well to neutralize Matthew Tkachuk. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but apologize if I'm missing it. They've been working hard to limit his effectiveness in the game. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. And then Bobrovsky finally loses. He's basically the consummate contender. If Florida wins, that's like the MVP. But he's been on the 5-game winning streak, and that's pretty much been snapped. So but he's been playing effectively. So we're going to see if he rebounds. See if the Panthers, Florida, can rebound and take the next step and even the series. Now in the NBA, you have Denver and Miami playing. This is Denver's first time there. This group of Miami, they were basically in the play-in and played into the 8th seed and worked their way up. So they're the second number 8 seed to reach the NBA Finals behind the New York Knicks. A little bit over 20 years ago, I believe that was 1999, 2000. So we're going to see if the Heat can actually step it up and rebound. They lost the first game to Denver. They lost 104-93. So it's going to be interesting to see how Miami rebounds, what they have in, what they can do to even the series. Denver, they have good size. They have a great low post game, especially with Jokic. Not only scoring, but his passing, his length. He causes problems for them in the interior. So it's, for me, it comes down to Jimmy Butler. For the most part, when Jimmy Butler has been on, Miami has been unstoppable. He really has. But right now, he hasn't been playing up to par. He hasn't been playing up to the Jimmy Butler mantra that he lives by. He's been facing good length from Michael Porter Jr., who's done a very efficient job of, saying on Jimmy Butler, closing out, forcing him to shoot some difficult shots, not making it easy for him. But, Miami has to do a better job of, getting him open. And, he definitely has to hit those shots. If he wants to be an elite player, if he is an elite player, I think he's an elite player, but he has to make those shots. In the NBA, it's about the money time. When it comes down to the playoffs, that's when you really make a name for yourself. And, Jimmy Butler is going to have to really step up and do that, because Miami needs him. Let me take a look at his stat line from that game. Hold on for one moment. Here we go. Here are the stats. Yeah, Bam Adebayo led them in scoring with 26 points. But what did Jimmy Butler have? He had 13 points, 6 of 14 shooting, 1 of 2 on 3 points, no free throws, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, 1 personal foul. 7 rebounds, 7 assists. They definitely need more scoring from him. They can't not have Jimmy Butler scoring 13 points. You can't. There's no way. He at least needs to be in the mid 20s. I say 24 to 27 per game for him to be a superstar, the leader of this team. He gives them a 30-point game and they win this game. And he can score 30 points. Miami has to do better to help get him open. But Caleb Martin has to step up. After having a great series last series, scored 3 points. Can't do it, man. You can't. If you want to be a champion, you have to consistently elevate your game each and every series, especially come playoff times. So you played great in the last series. Now you got to step it up. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. These guys have to step it up. Matt Strauss, 0 points. 0 for 10 from field goal, 0 for 9 from threes. 0 for 9. He's doing, I love him to death, but he's doing the John Starks for Miami. He has to step up this game. I think those three right there are going to be key to the next series. To the next game on Monday night. Strauss, Martin, and Butler definitely have to step up their game even more. They cannot win without those guys, especially Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler scoring 13 points. That's hard. That's hard when you want to consider yourself one of the greats of the game. You don't see you never saw Michael Jordan scoring like that. Sorry, you didn't. I'm not saying Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan, so please do not misinterpret that. What I'm saying is, if you are a superstar player, you cannot have production like that. You just can't. You at least have to be scoring at least give him 23 points. 23 points and 10 rebounds. And with 7 assists, you were productive there. So I can't really kill him there. But you got to squeeze a little bit more. Like I said, Strauss and Martin, if they scored a little bit more, even if they scored 6 points apiece and Jimmy Butler gives you another 10, that's the point differential right there. They win. And those are your key players, and you need them to step up. And it's going to be interesting for me to watch to see if these guys step up the next series or if they disappear. Or do they cave into what Denver is bringing to the table? When you look at the Denver, Jamal Murray, 26 points, Michael Porter Jr., 14, Aaron Gordon, 16, Jokic, 27. Denver started out that game attacking them down low, hitting Aaron Gordon because they had the size. They do have good size. All 5 of those guys are 6'5" and up. So they have size on Miami. But you look at that productivity from their key players, they're in there balling. One of the things about Denver that, I always heard was they have a limited bench. And I went by that too. But when you have starters who are producing like this, on the defensive side, Miami has to step it up. They definitely do. If you get a total of 4 steals, you can't have 4 steals. You have to force more. You have to force more. You have to get more steals off of these guys. And in terms of the rebounds, let's see. Yeah, they were out rebounded too. You have to hold fort with the rebounds. You have to step it up there too. So all in all, I'm expecting, like I said, the key factors for the next game are Jimmy Butler, number 1, Caleb Martin, and Strauss being more productive offensively. They got to put more points in the basket. They got to get more steals. Definitely need a few more steals. Limit the Nuggets' opportunities to make plays. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back right after this. Shadow Worlds Radio, the feel-good experience that connects with the community and reflects life. With Shadow Worlds Radio, you're able to listen to great music, find them out in the community, positively impacting lives, addressing important social issues which affect our communities, and bringing an interactive approach to life, love, sports, and our families. If you're looking for great DJ service, contact Shadow Worlds Radio. To listen to powerful talk radio, tune into the Unconcealed Talk Show, where it's about making strong and positive moves. For great sports talk, check out Heart of the City, where passion for New York City sports kicks it to another level. to take it back in the days, listen to Dodge Smith and the Retro Show, where he brings you classic music from down under. Good day, mate. Shadow Worlds Radio is bringing you everything you're looking for from an online radio and media outlet. Visit Shadow Worlds Radio's website at www.shadowworlds.com or our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Shadow Worlds Radio. And the Shadow Worlds spelled SHADOWWORLZ. Yes, Shadow Worlds with a Z. All right, everyone, I'm back. And right now we're going to rock on and talk a little bit about the NFL. All right. Have a lot of teams going through OTAs, just getting acclimated, working on their playbook, seeing how guys are doing. But today I want to talk about an article I saw on the NFL.com site. It's written by Adam Shine. And, the Shine 9 is the publication through the NFL Network, or NFL.com, my apologies. But the headline is Bold Predictions for 2023 NFL Season. Sam Darnold's 49ers top Jets in Super Bowl. Bill Belichick era ends. Now, he has several different storylines, if you want to give it there. And let me just give you those, and then I'm going to talk about one specifically. Number one is Sam Darnold beats Jets in the Super Bowl. Number two is the Saints earn NFC's number one seed. Number three is Cardinals don't win a game. Number four is Packers post second worst record. 5 is Josh Allen wins MVP. 6, Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year. 7, Justin Jefferson makes NFL history as first 2,000-yard receiver. 8, rookie Jahmyr Gibbs leads all running backs in touchdowns. And number 9, Bill Belichick's final season in New England is playoff free. Now, there's a couple that, definitely about Bill Belichick. Just his thoughts there. I mean, that's an interesting one, going out without making a playoff. Justin Jefferson and 2,000 yards as the receiver, especially with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. I mean, I find that one that definitely deserves some dissection. I quickly thought about the Cardinals, but they're having a new coach, new system, a lot going on over there. But the one I want to talk about is Sam Darnold beats the Jets in Super Bowl. I mean, think about that irony if that were to happen. But, he talks about the 49ers having the best roster from number 2 to 53. Basically alluding that, you got to find that number 1. Is it Brock Purdy, who's currently dealing with recovery? Trey Lance, who's been struggling, so it's kind of leaving Sam Darnold as the lead man. I mean, he writes, always loved Darnold's raw talent, but he was dealt a raw hand in New York and Carolina. Just ask Le'Veon Bell about Adam Gaze's development, or lack thereof, of the former number 3 overall pick. That is true. Sam Darnold was not dealt a good hand. I mean, Adam Gase, what can you say? I mean, if you think about his introductory press conference and, the bug eyes and the way he looked, I mean, I don't want to say it creeped you out, but it creeped you out. And then to not fully develop this kid, I mean, coming out of USC, he was projected to be one of the, if not the quarterback. But, when you look at the 49ers, he's in a good system, good situation. You have a good head coach and an offensive system under leadership of Kyle Shanahan. You have talent, in the running back and the receivers, tight end. You have a good offensive line. You even have a good defense. So Sam Darnold really is in a good place. He's in a good situation. I mean, you think about that defense. Last year they finished first in points and yards allowed. That says a lot right there. They finished first in points and yards allowed. All he has to do really is just get the ball to his playmakers, let them make plays, and trust his defense. And when the opportune time is there for him to really make a play, capitalize on that opportunity. You don't want to fall short of that opportunity. I mean, with all the talent that's there in San Francisco, man. This would be a great opportunity for him, to, run that, be the head man, the quarterback, the leader of that team. He has talent. He does. He has the ability to throw that ball all over the field. He just needs to make sure that mentally he's not seeing ghosts. And remember, he did say that at one point with the Jets. He said it seems like he sees ghosts out there. But now they just have to slow it down. And hopefully they'll be able to do that for him in San Francisco. Now, for the Jets, last year, the debate was the Jets could have gotten in if they had better quarterback play in a couple of games, specifically the 2 games against the Patriots. I can attest to that. If they had better quarterback play, they win both of those games, and those games get them into the playoffs. Now, if you have one of the all-time great quarterbacks leading that offense, why not? Now, the Jets do have to, their offensive line has to come to play. It really does. That's the weakest link with the Jets, their offensive line. You do have, a good running game. Breece Hall will be back. Hopefully he'll be able to be productive and the injury won't take him out of sorts. But, you still have Michael Carter back there, in the receiving game. Bringing in Alan Lazard and all the other receivers along with the talent that they have there in the receiving group and the tight ends. And having a top defense. I mean, they do have a top 5 defense in the league. So, in some regards, I can understand the thought of the Jets making it to the Super Bowl. Now, there's going to be many debates, hey, it's going to be hard with Kansas City, with Cincinnati, with Baltimore, with the Buffalo Bills, the Dolphins. You want to throw the Chargers in there. Even Jacksonville can be a little bit more productive. All those teams are going to make it difficult for whoever to come out of the AFC. So, what in this scenario? I can see it. I can't say it's a crazy thought. No, it's a fair thought. You may not like it. You may debate, hey, about their offensive line. Aaron Rodgers is, almost 40, or he is 40. And, can he play at that top level at that age? I get it. I understand that. I'm not going to even debate that. That's fair. Those are fair arguments and counterpoints. But for this scenario, what happens if everything goes into play? What happens if that offensive line settles in? And it gives them the ability to produce. What happens if Aaron Rodgers is, not going to a dark place, but he's out there and he's putting the ball in the playmaker's hands in the right spots, in the right positions? What do you say to that? What happens? You can easily then at that point in time see the Jets being or becoming a top team coming out of there. Now, he doesn't say that the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. He says the 49ers will win it. And he says Sam Darnold will be the starting quarterback. Even though there is a chance Purdy can come back and take the reins, but he believes it's going to be Sam Darnold leading the 49ers over the Jets in the Super Bowl. If that happened, that would be so ironic, man. It really would. It would really. You could only sit here and laugh. That's really what it boils down to. So now I do want to touch on his point about the Patriots. He feels like the Patriots will be 7-10 or 8-9 at the end of the season. But he said, the reason why is because of Belichick that they get that record. But the roster, in terms of talent in the NFC East is fourth. He's saying Mac Jones is an average quarterback at best. The receiving core is subpar. The defense, of course, will always be a good point, a solid point. But, playing in the AFC, you definitely need talent. He has the Bills and the Jets each winning 11 games and the Dolphins hitting double digits. So that means they're going to get 10 wins. But for this to come true, yeah, it would be a sad ending to a legendary career by Bill Belichick. But at that point in time, maybe it would be time to make a change, But hey, it could happen. And if that were to happen, you probably do have the coach right there in waiting, and Bill O'Brien. I'm just saying, and I'm going off of this, So it was Robert Kraft who said it's very important that the Patriots return to the playoffs. So, is that a hard line? I doubt it. You do give Bill Belichick the respect, but does he just say, I can't do it anymore? Who knows? So, just wanted to talk about that, a little bit about the NFL. I hope your team, has you energized like most of us Giants fans. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a little break. Thanks again to the League of All Leagues for sponsoring this segment. But take a break and I'll be back right after this. All right, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you guys had a really great time today with the show. Everything that we talked about, that we touched on. Really appreciate all the support. As I said in the intro, and talked about a little bit. Jeff, this is for you. Bro. Thank you for always supporting me. I know you're looking down and you're covering everybody, all the brothers in the Big Blue Crew, and the Hardcore Network, and the All-Star Sports, all throughout Giants Nations, Nets Nations, Devils Nations, Mets Nation, and your wrestling spheres. I know you're watching over us, bro. And we love and we appreciate, and each and every last one of us who loves you, we always gonna rock for you, bro. Gonna rock for you, man, because you was always there for every last one of us. So, and to all of you out there in my audience, thank you all. I mean, I really appreciate you guys, sponsors. You guys always know I always talk about it and always, go back over it over and over again. But, thank you. I can't thank you guys enough. So, with that being said, I hope everybody really appreciated the show today. Get ready for another one next week. And in closing, like I always say, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. You have a good one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shadow Worlds Radio presents Coach's Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
This is the Read and Attack Show.
This is a sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
And I give you my perspective.
Coach's
And Attack.
Sports Talk Show.
I'm gonna attack it just like I would as a coach.
Read and attack.
Read and attack.
Sports talk show.
I'm gonna attack it just like I would as a coach.
Coaches read and attack.
I'm gonna give you my perspective.
This is the Read and Attack Sports Talk Show.
Thank you all for tuning in today.
Read and attack. Sports
This
talk
is a
show.
sports show where I dive into sports all across the world.
Coaches
Read and attack.
Sports talk show. Read and attack.
Read and attack show.